Welcome back, guys. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. But today we're back in business right now, guys, and you know what that means. We gotta combat some BS. But before we get into this video, guys, I need you guys to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 10K subscribers. We're getting very close. So I need you guys, every last one of you, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and make sure that you like this video and make sure you comment and make sure you hit that bell notification thingy so you'll be notified every time I post. So for that, let's get right into this video.
What a day. So should we just go through exactly what News Group newspapers, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch, that's the publishers of the now defunct News of the World, but now The Sun and The Sun on Sunday, have said about this court case. So just to give a little bit of background, Victoria Ward, our royal reporter, was in court yesterday. They expected this battle to go ahead. Harry has previously settled with Mirror Group newspapers for a sum of around £300,000. He had said before Christmas, I'm taking this all the way. I'm not going to settle. Others have settled because they can't afford to take this legal battle to the very conclusion that is required for me to be able to be, he's described himself as a kind of media dragon slayer. So in court yesterday, everyone's expecting both sides to go at each other, and David Sherborne, who's representing Prince Harry, springs up and says, I need an adjournment. We're going to come to a settlement. The KC for the other side, a guy called Anthony Hudson, agrees.
UK media can spin. It wasn't David who wanted this settlement. It was Rupert Murdoch and NGN who desperately was trying to get this settlement. They were desperate because they didn't want certain things to come out and play out into court, which is why they gave in and gave their apology. Like, I don't understand this thing where it was Prince Harry who settled. He didn't settle. He got his apology. He got his accountability. That's what he always wanted. He wanted accountability. What is the point of going to court when the defendant has admitted the crime? When you admit the crime, what's the point? You're saving taxpayer money. That's another thing. They save taxpayer a whole bunch of money right now. So whatever.
A very difficult chapter, hasn't it, for all of our industry. Yeah. The use of private investigators, not just by NGN, but were they used by others? The attacks on the media. I think both of us felt, we've been discussing this morning, both of us felt that there was a sort of blanket attack on all journalists rather than...
Let me stop you right there. And this is one of the reasons I'd even reacted to this particular video, because one thing I've noticed about the UK media is that there is no self-awareness. And they get upset for, particularly when people on social media blanket them or kind of brush them with one brush or whatever, paint them with one brush. That's what I'm trying to say. They get upset when that happens, but they don't do enough to separate themselves from that type of media. So, like, the two right here, I guess they consider themselves journalists, right? Fine. They don't want to be associated with tabloid media. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't the Telegraph is tabloid media, right? Right? Whatever. They all the same. See, that's the thing. I don't even know at this point no more. They don't do enough to separate themselves from tabloid media. But we'll get into that because they're going to say other stuff in this video. And I'm have a point, but yeah.
The specifics of wrongdoing, which I think we all felt very uncomfortable about, given the amount of amazing work journalism does in exposing truths which the public would not know otherwise.
Exposing truths? If that's the case, you will be exposing the truths in the royal family, the stuff that they continuously get covered up. But okay.
You've been royal editor of the Sunday Express.
Yeah.
You covered the royals. You've covered the royals here and still do, very close to royal circles. Just give us a broad overview about how we got to this point. Talking first about this battle between Prince Harry and what he described as the tabloids.
Yes. So just to be categorically clear, I absolutely support him in his quest to expose nefarious journalistic tactics which intruded on his life. And I do that for several reasons. First of all, phone hacking has brought shame on our entire industry, and we've all ended up being tarred with the brush of some of these rogue operators, which really personally annoys me, not least because when
It annoys you, but yet I don't see you and others like you doing enough to separate yourself from the toxicity of certain parts of your media. You guys, you all always speaking about having it both ways, but at the same time, the same tabloid articles you amplify those by reporting on it in your mainstream or the more, I guess, respected publications. Those same articles you give them, you amplify it, right? But then at the same time, you get upset when people brush you with the same brush as the tabloid media and kind of put y'all all in the same box. It's so confusing. I don't know how that works.
I've never been put in that position myself. I don't know what that would have been like. But don't forget that I was also getting pressure on a rival newspaper that wasn't engaging in those tactics, barely had the budget to pay for freelancers, let alone, the private investigator Glenn Mulcair, who got sent down
Still
with
the
Clive
same.
Goodman.
They're still doing the
So
same
I was
thing.
also getting pressure. Why aren't you getting this kind of stuff?
Where did that change a bit? Because Piers Morgan, who we interviewed last week, do go back and listen to that, not just to talk about the Churchill cigar, but also he has a lot to say about Prince Harry. Mirror Group newspapers, where Piers was an editor, was also affected by this. He said that it may have started there, but then it became a war with the media where Prince Harry, lost a lot of sympathy. Do you agree
Yes.
with that?
So
and why, if you do?
I think.
Why are we even seeking out Piers Morgan opinion? The judge from the Mirror Group case even said Piers Morgan. There was no way Piers Morgan didn't know about these phone hacking allegations. There's no way he didn't know. And y'all still seeking out Piers Morgan's opinion. Crazy work.
So he started doing two things when the tide sort of turned against them post the wedding in May 2018.
There it goes. I knew she was going to go there. I knew she was going to say the thing that I knew she was going to say. This idea that Harry, in particular, just switched and turned against the media once the media switched and turned against him and Meghan is a total lie. If I have to constantly remind people. The moment Prince Harry and Meghan's relationship was revealed to the world, not even a day, or barely a day, had passed by that we started to get the sister from the Markle side coming out with her BS. And literally 2 days after that, literally a day after that, the racist article started. From not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, very well-known UK publications all wrote a week's worth of racist or racially charged articles about Meghan and her background. So this idea that Prince Harry's and Meghan's relationship changed because the tabloids changed, the tabloids never changed. They've always been the way they were. Because if that was the case, why did Prince Harry have to come out with a letter after that week's worth of racist articles to say, leave her alone? Like, this, the fact that these people can just keep rewrite history or just pick the history that fits their narrative better is what irks the hell out of me. Because this is not what happened. This is not what happened. He didn't F with y'all, period, in the first place before Meghan. And he didn't mess with y'all really after y'all make these articles. And he definitely didn't mess with y'all after that wedding. Hell, if I recall, one of y'all were complaining because he wasn't even allowing y'all access to the damn wedding. Y'all couldn't even go to the wedding. Y'all were outside of the wedding. It's just, oh my God. It's so frustrating. But let's continue.
He started saying that the press had launched a vendetta against him
and
Meghan, and he started claiming that the Royal Press Pack was in collusion with the palace against him after the wedding. And the reason I think that these stories came out is that they could keep a lid on everything before the wedding because they really only interacted with palace people, and it's quite a tight shop. once you start planning a wedding and you're getting dress designers involved and florists and celebrants and choirs, if your behaviour seems to be erratic, lots of other people start to talk about it, the more that journalists like me find out. Getting on very well. And also we're hearing that the royal sisters-in-law aren't getting on very well. And then we're hearing that they're not getting on very well within the royal household, that they're increasingly operating in a silo, that they're even considering a way out. They might want to move to Canada or America, that they are seeking commercial opportunities that may require them to alter their royal role. So all of this has happened, and all of this is being reported, and we now know, thanks to this book,
Spare.
and what happened, and their Oprah Winfrey interview,
You know what's funny to me? How I've noticed this with the UK media. They are good at not only changing or rewriting the narrative, but they're good at finding a scapegoat. So they're going to always point to the Oprah interview. They're going to always point to the documentary. They're going to always point to the book of like, this is how we knew all this stuff. No, what Oprah, the documentary did was because they responded to the cause, the response became the cause instead of the cause.
Literally vindicates all of the reporting, because everything that we reported turned out to be true.
And did you feel, Camilla, that you and other royal editors and reporters were being attacked because you were writing things that they didn't like, even though they were true? Because I think you wrote about the bridesmaids.
Well, let's get on to bridesmaids.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned bridesmaids, right? So I get wind that all is not well in the royal household, and I'm thinking to myself, how do I write this? Because, by the way, it wasn't a one-sided story. Let's get on, because it's worth being reminded of what I actually wrote with the now infamous bridesmaids dress tears story.
Because I remember back to this time, just before you get to the actual piece you wrote, and which is why it's so important, that, as you say, Meghan and Harry and Catherine and William were appearing on stages together. This was the new reinvention, the reset of the royal family.
The Fab Four.
We need royal family for the...
Although, can I just say that the Fab Four on-stage performance, most people looked at and went,
yes,
something's not right there.
Yes.
You've got Kate heavily pregnant, can't really get a word in. Meghan dominating the conversation. A little bit of...
That is shit like that. If you go back to that, I know exactly. Okay, so this is when I'm going to put a little picture up so you guys remember. This was like when, probably the only time I can remember when all four of them were together and they were like, it was like some sort of panel or something. They all were speaking, right? And each and every last one of them got a chance to talk. Actually, I feel like Harry and William talked the most. I think maybe Meghan spoke once, maybe twice, but they all went through their own. They all got asked questions and they all spoke. But somehow Meghan, and this is the problem right here, is the words that you all use and what those words carry. You said Meghan dominated that conversation. And that Kate couldn't get a word in. Like they were all talking over each other. That is not the case. No, that was not the case. However, and this is where biases come in. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you recognize your bias. Because Meghan talks so well, she talks so professional compared to a very whispering Kate, it looks, or it appears, or you think that she dominated Kate. But in actuality, Meghan is way more trained to professionally and publicly speak than Kate has ever been, even though she's been in the family for about 1,000 years at this point. So the fact that you are using these charged words like dominate, it is just, this is the problem. This is the problem. This is why people, the social media says what they say about you. I'm not justifying some of the things people have said to you or done to you. I'm not justifying none of that. Because I always tell people, it's not what we do, it's how we do it. We can voice our opinion without feeling threatening people or creating conspiracy theories. There's a way you can tell a person that you effed up.
Between Kate and Meghan really ramped up following rumours of an apparent falling out between the pair in the run-up to the Sussexes' wedding in May. The Telegraph has spoken to two separate sources who claim Kate was left in tears following a bridesmaid dress fitting for Princess Charlotte. Kate had only just given birth to Prince Louis and was feeling quite emotional, said one insider. Okay?
I remember that story.
That's in the middle of a wider piece. You'll note, I did not say, as the Sun later picked up the story the next day, its reporter Jack Royston phoned me and said, why haven't you splashed this? I was like, because we're the Telegraph. He's like, we're going to splash it. And the next thing I know, we've got the Sun's headline, Meghan made Kate cry, and all hell breaks loose. But the original piece was very considered and all the rest of it. On the situation goes...
Okay, so I'll be honest. When it comes to that Kate, I'm so sick of that story, but that story is very important for various reasons. When it comes to that bridesmaid dress story, I will say, Camilla Tominey, I read the original article. The bridesmaid story was just a small bit, right? It was just maybe like a paragraph, and I put it somewhere in this video so you guys can see. It was like a very small bit, but it was part of a bigger piece. It was just talking about how they don't get along, whatever. And it was, I will say, because you guys know how I keep it real. It was unbiased. There was really no sides or anything. She just said they don't get along, and I will give her credit for that. The problem is that the Sun picked it up, Jack Royston, the little weasel, and I personally have been part of Jack Royston's, how he manipulates stuff to get the most salacious. Oh, that little weasel can turn anything and make it something. But the thing is, Camilla, she has always gotten the brunt of the backlash when it was really him who put that out there, that Meghan made Kate cry. The problem with the Meghan made Kate cry situation was not only was it a lie, but that story was the beginning of what will become this endless cycle of just negative articles daily, every single day. Up until that point, I would say that besides the racist stuff, it was very much kind of like middle, the articles. It was kind of like, I would say 55-45. 55 negative, 45 positive. But it was still kind of like, okay, it wasn't nothing to kind of like, except the social media side, because social media stuff is separate until they started to merge. But once that Meghan made Kate cry story came out, it has not stopped since. And that was in 2018. We are in 2025. But that story was a part of what drove a pregnant woman at the time to almost unliven herself. Because I can't say certain words because, YouTube and all this stuff. To the point that she was having a mental breakdown or some sort. And she was pregnant. And she was thinking about harming herself with her very much fully developed baby. So I don't understand. The problem I have with Camilla is that, again, you didn't do anything to try to separate what you said at the time. You didn't do enough. Because we all thought this whole entire time that you said that she made Kate cry. You didn't. I will give you credit. You didn't say that, but you didn't do anything to change it. And on top of that, I think what a lot of us at the time, thought that, because this story also added to social media, because now the trolls were saying that Meghan bullied Charlotte. Like, the story changed so many damn times, but the stuff on social media was that she bullied Charlotte. This entire time, people thought that there was some sort of fitting. They all were at this place together, at this, I don't know, wedding fitting place, and Megan just made Kate cry and made Charlotte cry. Like, they were all together. Come to find out, thanks to Spare, Megan wasn't even at the place. She texted Kate, told her, hey, you have to go here for the fitting. The guy's waiting. And that's what it was. They didn't even see each other. All this is done through text. And then what also was crazy to me was that the text messages revealed that it revealed that Kate not only tried to show her rank over Megan, this girl tried to control Megan's wedding and tell her what she had to do in her wedding. She had to tell this woman all the wedding dresses have to be changed. How you gonna tell me what to do for my wedding? Who are you? And it was funny, once that got revealed, it still was Megan was the villain. The text messages proved that not only was Megan telling the truth, but it also proved that Kate is not as innocent or this sweet, shy Kate that we all are led to believe that she is. But you don't see endless articles talking about how Kate is a bully or controlling or narcissist and all these things. And that text message that Prince Harry revealed was very revealing about Kate's personality. But the narrative is still that Meghan bullied. And Camilla, you didn't do nothing to change the narrative. Okay. But Jack Royston, you are something else.
This started a sort of journey, didn't it, of clashing between the media and the two of them. They were these glorious couple, and then reporters like you and many others started bringing out all this tension.
And don't forget, the week before the Oprah interview, we get the Times reporting that a bullying claim has been made against Meghan. They vehemently deny that. But
you know what I would never understand about this bullying allegation stuff is that there's endless stories about Princess Anne, Andrew, Charles, William of either physically attacking staff or being very aggressive. I digress.
Harry and Meghan dating story. And he literally personally invited me to cover him doing this AIDS initiative with Rihanna, of all people. And then later I'm invited in personally to do this coverage on his fears about palm oil. You know, I was like, at one point, the chosen one. So I'm there with my notebook. Then Spare comes out.
So that's after the Oprah Winfrey interview. Then we have, of course, Spare, which Piers Morgan described as the biggest invasion of royal family privacy in history.
Yes. Now,
the Diana book, the Prince Charles book. I mean, okay. Whatever.
But I think we can join the dots. Days later came the coup de grace from a royal correspondent, a sci-fi fantasy describing the growing froideur, good lord, he rightly says there in brackets, between Kate and Meg, claiming that, according to, quotes, two sources, Meg had reduced Kate to tears about the bridesmaids' dresses. This particular royal correspondent had always made me ill. She'd always got stuff wrong, but this felt more than wrong. I read the story in disbelief. Meghan didn't. She still wasn't reading anything. She'd heard about it, however, since it was the only thing being discussed in Britain for the next 24 hours. And as long as I live, I'll never forget the tone of her voice as she looked at me in the eye and said, "Has I made her cry? I made her cry?" ? On that, this particular royal correspondent always made me ill. It's a curious description, isn't it? Considering that he literally used to invite me onto his jobs to spread the positive word about what he was doing with his royal privilege and his charitable endeavors.
This is the thing. They take everything so personal. Like, this is the problem. Why are you in journalism if you're taking everything so damn personal? Harry didn't like y'all. He never liked y'all. He did his job. They had to kiss y'all ass to get their charity stuff promoted. That's the job. Isn't that the job? They give y'all something, you promote their stuff. It's that simple. Like, they kiss y'all ass to just get their stuff attention, to highlight it. I mean, I don't I think that's very simple. A very simple way of like understanding this is how it works.
Invictus, invited to cover everything. Perfectly good terms with the guy. The second thing, she always got things wrong. Really? Poor old me. You know, I literally received death threats after Oprah Winfrey. It was horrendous. And hang on a minute, don't tar me with.
I would say this. I would say now I'm looking back. Well, let me just say this. You guys know how I operate. I don't believe in no death threats. Do not do because I feel like that's counterproductive of what we're trying to achieve. But I definitely feel like you can make your voices heard and say, hey, you yeffed up. Now, but looking back, Camilla Tominey definitely got a lot of the brunt when the Oprah interview came out and those stories about the bridesmaid dress and all that stuff came out. She definitely got the brunt, actually all of it for as those stories. And but when in actuality, Jack Royston should have got way more backlash. Jack Royston should have got way more backlash. He went through it unscathed because I don't even remember Jack Royston's name back in those days. I don't remember no one ever even mentioning him. So I don't all of the death threats, but he definitely should have got his fair share of criticism. He definitely should have got his fair share of criticism for that and backlash. Yes, he should have. Because he is the one who wrote that headline. But she's not innocent. Far from it.
The brush of illegitimacy. This was a perfectly fair and accurate story that I can.
And on top of that, you keep using these loaded words like dominant and like you're saying bullying, but you just bullied someone I know just recently, Mayor of Constant. You literally was on when that Vanity Fair article came out. What was the first thing you did? You felt vindicated because I don't know how that Vanity Fair is like. I don't know how the Vanity Fair article is correcting all of the wrongs and stuff that supposedly happened to you UK journalists. I don't know how that is like. Oh my God! Now I'm vindicated. I don't know how that. You, I can go on and on about that. Okay, but you instantly tagged Meredith for absolutely no reason because Meredith called you out for the racist article that you wrote about connecting the Grenfell Fire kitchen, the food kitchen, to a terrorist group. And you don't see a problem with that. That's what I said. You don't see anything that you've done. Like, you don't see how your words are loaded with all types of isms in it. Like, I don't understand how you just don't see that. Sorry. Wasn't this the same woman when Megan was promoting her children's book? And I know, guys, I'm keep looking over because I'm looking at the time. I'm recording myself. Don't mind me. But wasn't this the woman who, when Megan was promoting her children's book, she did some sort of like interview talking about it or something, and she was saying how Archie has a ferocious. I remember it like yesterday. She said Archie has a ferocious appetite for books. This was the same woman who reacted to that and was just like made it seem like Megan was saying that Archie himself, because I think Archie was maybe like 1 or almost 2 years old. Like she made it seem like Archie. She made it seem like Megan was saying that Archie can read, like he just reads books by himself, and that's not what she was saying. She was just saying he likes books read. Like she was just saying he likes books. Like he likes when they read him books. He has an appetite for it.
Let's explore where we are now. There's the practical side of this. So Lord Watson has said now that he's preparing a dossier for the Met Police. He is demanding that they continue investigations into newspapers. But what about where Harry and Meghan are now? Apart from being in California, literally, and trying to bring their wonderful morality to the people who have suffered the fires there in Los Angeles. You're going to be writing today, and I urge everyone to read what you're going to be saying today after this really significant event. But where Harry and Meghan are now, what role do they have? in the future in terms of their status in America, here. It seems almost rather sad if we look back to the moment they got married and look at where they are now.
I wouldn't go as far as Morgan did last week. Oh, they're just C-list celebrities. But I don't know. Maybe in common with quite a lot of the population, I don't really care all that much. I mean, they
don't care, but yet these are the same publications that constantly writes about them every 2 seconds. I just understand how that works. When a person is truly a C-lister, you barely hear about them. That's when you start seeing people start doing desperate stuff to get attention. You know how they say Meghan and Harry are desperate to be in the covers of the art? Like, how? How many times have we seen Meghan and Harry go ghosts for like months? Then they pop up somewhere. Even when they disappear, pop up, articles is written about them every single day. Constantly. Every single day. I can't go one day without a new article written about Harry and Meghan. So how the hell is that you people don't care? Maybe you don't care, but there's still a lot of people who care.
But we want to be in the papers. Like, pick a lane. You don't, don't go out and start hugging people.
Did she just say they said, wait a minute. Did she just say something about they wanted to for the billionth time, if you're watching this video, Meghan and Harry never say anything about wanting a private life.
To be speaking to his father, this is the last big UK-focused story that he's involved in any way. I think now there's going to be quite a period where, as you say, unless they do something significant, we're not going to hear an awful lot from them.
Also, to be fair to him,
that's a damn lie. Shut up. Listen, guys, that was a treat. Hold on. Whew. I'm glad that's over. Guys, if you want more reaction videos like this, please let me know in the comments, because I kind of like going through some of these segments, some of these interviews, some of these discussions and breaking it down. So I feel like we get way more of a discussion. But it's just amazing to me how these people have been doing this for so many years, and they have gotten away with it. And it's just like, we know what they've been doing because we've been seeing it. But the fact is, like, I'm just like so sick of it. So that particular segment, I was just like, when I saw it, I was like, I have to talk about this, because this is just so, represents so much of what we all have been complaining about. But yeah, guys, if you enjoy those videos, let me know in the comments and tell me what you think. Guys, I will see you in the next video, and peace out. Have a great day.